Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the Invincible Iron Man issue 12, 2022. Really digging that cover here. We kind of had this happen in the issue, and I like the story in this issue, but the artwork is where I have my most kind of pain point on. Now, granted, it's for the most part alright, but we get into certain ones where characters are kind of strangely drawn perspective-wise, and faces look weird, and it gets really more kind of rough as you go through the issue, i.e. a rougher kind of style. I usually don't mind it, but it seemed kind of wildly inconsistent with what was kind of going on, and a little bit more fluid on the armor parts than I'm usually used to. So it just really wasn't up to my kind of style that I usually like with the artwork and the consistency wise. It's not horrendous. I've had other ones that have just been like, what in the hell am I actually looking at here? But we do get more movement on what's kind of going on. It's interesting having Riri introduced into the mix. And let's kind of get into this as we see that She-Hulk Jen is trying to get Rhodey out, saying that they pretty much have evidence that he couldn't have murdered the employee. Let's see. And that the dude died after James Rhodes was in custody, and then trying to pretty much utilize his military service to get him released for that. And then the prosecution's like, Your Honor, we don't know who had the victim's phone at the time. We ask that Mr. Rhodes be confined until a jury decides what is true and what is not. And the thing is, Jen's part looks alright. The prosecutor dude's just kind of like a little bit rougher, and then she pretty much smashes her rental, and she got insurance for pretty much that. That's why she checked the box for it. And everyone's like, oh shit. And then we pretty much get Tony riding around in the Mark Nil. I conceived of the Mark Nil as a stopgap armor, something that would let me skulk about and finish the designs of the Mark 72, but I knew I was going to miss this armor. It was nice to throw it on and know that I wasn't going to have a fight unless I wanted one. I'd been fabricating stealth trackers and putting them on the Sentinel so I could analyze their flight patterns. Orcus could afford to make a few mistakes in the battle to come. That's one luxury I've never had. There was always a body count associated with my miscalculations. As he gets into the Hellfire, and Fisk is like, I want to know what's on with my investment. Saying that it takes time, something you cannot afford because I can't purchase it for you. You're being funded, assisted, and protected by me so that you can reunite me with my wife. My patience is wearing thin. I bit my tongue. I wanted to be alive when my appointment arrived. So we also see armor in the background. It's like, ooh. I was unaware that my visitor had already arrived at the Hellfire Club. I was about to get bounced by my wife, Hazel Kendall. Yes, may I help you? I'm here to see Tony Stark. I'm sorry, he's not here and he's not seeing fans at the moment. Congrats on the marriage. I can't imagine what went wrong in your life to want to take that plunge with Tony. And I'm not a fan. Now let me in and forget you ever saw me. As she's utilizing Mandarin's rings, which I'm like, Riri, I'm like, you gotta watch out with that. And then, of course, resist. The X-Men had a psychic defense called the Red Triangle that kicked in when coerced telepathically. My wife removed her mutant inhibitor ring, and school is in session for Riri Williams. So she pretty much learns not to go for that. And this is kind of where it starts kind of looking a little bit weird perspective-wise for me. It's just like, okay, it's a little bit rougher around kind of what's going on, especially with what we kind of saw kind of before, with how they kind of looked. It's like, oh, alright. Now, granted, I understand that this is in their mind, like in their minds, but it's just kind of not my kind of style. And then, of course, she's like, oh, shit. Emma's like, let's start over. How are you doing this? Oh, crap. Tony married Emma Frost. Wait, does Tony know he married Emma Frost? I see you're not a natural telepath, but are enhanced. The answer to your question is, of course, Tony knows. And you should know that barging into the wrong mind will be bad for your health. Now, granted, I do agree with Emma putting up that point. And her having Hellfire Knuckles and then punching Riri out before she gets on her armor in the space. And then she's like, you're wanted for murder, and you married Tony Stark? Excuse me, Tony gets to be married to one of my aliases. Now, how is it that this ring of yours grants you telepathic powers? Don't worry, I'm going to show you, as we essentially get into superhero throwdown mode. I accept my share of the blame in the aftermath of this one for not bringing Riri up to speed on my wife, my life, and the Resistance, but we were at war and everything was strictly need to know, which, in this case, I completely understand with Tony kind of keeping certain information segmented like this. So, I think Riri should have been able to kind of been like, hey, can you kind of tell Tony that I'm here without barging into someone's mind? It's like the rings, man. You always have to watch out for them. I faced down Obadiah Stane, Thanos, hell, I even went to war with Steve Rogers, and let me tell you, that drawing, the ire of the Kingpin, was as intimidating as any of them. I was grateful when the alarms went off, as we hear Mutant detected, and they're like, what? What the hell? Orcus offered to install the detector. Declining the offer would have appeared suspicious. It appears the women are lost in thought. Fuck! Riri and Emma must have gotten into it. There's Emma's inhibitor ring. And then we see that a Stark Sentinel pops up. It's like, nope, that's not good. We had a real situation, and I gotta give credit to Wilson Fisk. Lying was as natural as breathing in. As he then smashes his face. And this is another one. Well, this face there just looks really fucking weird to me. So he smacks himself in the face with the rod. Eric dancing Lesher. An assassin, the one called Mystique, just broke in and tried to kill me. And then we see them pretty much just continuing to fight on, saying that the Sentinels will be upon us, and if you insist on continuing the fight, we can do so in one of Orcus' labor camps. Agreed. Let me just help slap you awake. It's like, come on, Riri. Perhaps we were lucky and no one was nearby, and one was not nearby. Emma Frost detected. Surrender or be liquidated. Tony's armor just like pops out of nowhere. It's like, nice. I'm jamming it what we have less than a minute before we're burned and everything is up on an Orcus satellite. Riri, throw me with pleasure. As she pretty much goes diamond mode and Riri tosses her. I've hated hiding. If this is how it ends, so be it, as she starts banging into him. Nothing's ending. We have too many people to avenge to die tonight. Riri kind of gets smacked by the Sentinel. I can't crack this armor in the stealth suit. Ironheart, what have you got from the rings? I think I got something on board that's better than the Mandarin rings. I got that special order you asked me for, Tony. As she then pretty much utilizes whatever she banged up to like smash. Oh, yeah, that's right. She's whoosh, and then we see that it's Pym particles, and it shrank the Sentinel down as they beat the unholy fucking shit out of it and stomp it into the ground. Pym particles, presumably? Exactly. Mutant detected. Emma Frost, surrender. Bam, 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 bam. Nice work. Nice workout. Mrs. Stark, if you wouldn't mind getting that inhibitor ring on, as they just continue blasting more, like, it's like, yep. It had been our closest call with a Sentinel to date, and almost blew our covers. Fisk turned it all into an opportunity to deepen our cover, though. Mutants once again looked bad. Still, timing and luck were on our side. There weren't enough Pym particles to make that a great strategy for the entire army, but my special order sure came in handy that night. Wilson, Fisk being like, thanks for our emergency responders and the Stark Sentinels. The mutant who attacked me might have succeeded in more than the property damage, as they kind of like busted up more of the shit to kind of make it look. I think they kind of busted it up more. Fisk, of course, eating it up. Riri, I hope you still have some Pym particles. Yep. And nice fight, Emma. Sorry, I just assumed you'd put the whammy on Tony. And don't worry, Hazel, your secret is safe with me, as we get everything kind of back on. Thank you, darling, and I don't think we'll be hiding much longer. The old Hellfire Club is perfect for tinkering. The Mark 72 is proceeding, and I want to show you something else I just finished. I have a big favor to ask. Riri and I caught up for hours. We talked design until dawn. It's like, yeah, two gearheads talking about stuff. That's cool. So, what do you think? Well, the design work is impeccable. Yes, I know that. And yes, I know. That's not what I'm asking. Can you build these ships? How much Mysterium, and where on Earth will it be secretive or safe enough? Nowhere on Earth is safe enough. I need you to go up there. But you have to be sure you can get it done. Riri, the lives of everyone on this planet depend on you successfully fabricating those designs. If you can't get them home, we won't have enough firepower to finish this on D-Day. I'll get the job done. It's like, alright. And I'll send word to the you'll send word to these extraterrestrial smiths. I'll get the job done. When you get there, ask for Eitri. So, Bors, Nidavellir. That's pretty kind of cool. What were the Pym particles for? Take a look. Ha! It looks so cute. I'll eat tonight. You're sure you don't want to stay one more day? Tomorrow is. And it's like, okay, we'll have to see what the Pym particles do. And we essentially have a little Thanksgiving thing, which is actually kind of cool. Though, granted, Tony's face looks kind of weird here. And we get Ms. Marvel being like, I know it could be hard to see the good around us, but it's here. This has been such a hard year, but I'm grateful for all of you. Well said, Ms. Marvel. I've had more difficult Thanksgiving. Baston in 44 was pretty unpleasant as we get Cap. I'm like, yay, Cap! Yay! Never thought I'd be down in the Morlock tunnels as much as I've been. And it's like Deadpool, like a nice little Thanksgiving down there. I lift my glass of apple cider to you all. We'll have hard days ahead. I can't sugarcoat that. One way or another, come hell or high water, we don't have to have too much longer in the shadows. For tonight, let's eat this wonderful food and try to push aside our troubles and have a thought for all of our friends and family who aren't here. They will be avenged. And for the ones who survived, but are caught in the system, and may they get out of their predicaments. James Rhodes was falsely imprisoned awaiting trial in the Texas Polunsky unit. Yeah. There would be little to be thankful for on most days, but today was not most days. Hey, War Machine, your loyals sent this over to the warden, and he approved it. Approved what? A St. Leonard medal. The patron saint of prisoners. Somebody likes you, huh? Actually, I think it's a St. Anthony medal, as we see, as it's got a little Iron Man person there. It's like, that's kind of cool to send Rhodey like that. So, I like this in seeing kind of Jen attempting to help Rhodey out more. I do like that it's not dropped and that Rhodey's just, sitting there attempting to do things. And it's nice to have Jen kind of popping up and doing her best to kind of work with that. I do like seeing Tony understand kind of what's going on with Fisk and trying to get this balance right. I was kind of let down and disappointed in Riri that she just immediately used the rings and got into that Emma situation, but I can understand being like, yeah, I'm messing with these things, and I'm trying to make sure that I use them correctly, but you don't just go into someone's head. You could have just talked to this person, figured out what kind of would go on, instead of utilizing the rings like that. That makes me leery of what's kind of going on. Everything else within this issue of Tony talking with her, talking shop, getting her on board with what's kind of going on. I do like that she apologized to Emma and all that, but that makes me worry about the rings' influences on Riri, and that's going to be a situation that they're going to have to deal with. I was really surprised that Fisk was able to take that situation and wrap it up and keep the Hellfire Club in a decent enough state within not being completely blasted open by the Stark Sentinels. And I do like that we got a little bit more of an understanding of Tony trying to build warships with Mysterium, with the dwarves of Nidavellir, with Eitri. It's like, ooh, okay, let's kind of see what goes on here. And I really like the little Thanksgiving bit at the end. You don't really see that much in comics, but it's mainly because of how they usually fall. Usually you get your Halloween ones, your Christmas ones. And then that's pretty much about it. Sometimes maybe a New Year's, maybe a 4th of July or whatnot, but it's kind of cool when it kind of lines up like that, and I kind of like that they had a kind of thankful one with the mutants and Tony and Steve and Deadpool and everything. It's kind of cool. And then showing that he's still working for Rhodey and trying to help him, and it might also even be a bit of Mysterium that that metal is made out of, so we'll see how that kind of works out. So, overall I like the story, even with the inconsistencies in the art for me. If you liked it, that's quite alright. It's just how shifty it was on certain kind of things. Now, the mind portion, I totally get it kind of being shifty and wavy and kind of weird and kind of more rough in what's kind of going on. But there are the other kind of bits and pieces that are just didn't really fit with what I usually like out of the art style that I go for in an Iron Man comic. Not the worst, but if you enjoyed it, I'm glad for that. And if you disagree with me, that's quite alright. But I'm definitely looking forward to the story and to see where this kind of goes next with Tony, what's going to be going on with the warships, how Riri's going to factor into this, what his armor design is going to be like with the Mysterium, and how this is going to go. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.